Good evening and welcome to Class 4A football from Chicago tonight. It's the Geneseo Green Machine taking on the Chicago Phillips Wildcats. Kickoff coming up in about 1 minute. We've got Chicago Phillips at 11-0 and Geneseo at 10-1. And welcome to TV 50's coverage of Green Machine football. I'm Lauren Lemke, joined by Mr. Bob Pettit. Quarterfinal game, Bob. Two teams that played 2 years ago on this field in the Class 4A quarterfinals, and Geneseo won that game 41-8. This is a different Phillips team than we saw 2 years ago, but it's also a different Geneseo team.
Very different teams here. Phillips, watching their warm-ups, they're serious about this ball game. It's a Chicago Public League team, but they are serious about playing today, and they come off the championship runner-up last year and in 4A, and they got a lot of guys back.
We are waiting the kickoff here, but there's still 35 seconds on the clock before they can reset this. So both teams anxious to get out on the field. This is the latest kickoff. We've already played 30 games around the state, or they're underway, and only two 7 o'clock kickoffs tonight. Geneseo is one of them here. As Hinton's in a kickoff, Geneseo won the toss. They deferred to the second half, and we're going to see two strong defenses. Geneseo ranked number 2 and Phillips number 1 in this Class 4A field, and both teams can score points.
Yeah, it's about 6.5 points and 7 points given up, so they're very, very close defensively, and it's just going to be a matter of who can break through those defenses.
Geneseo in their white jerseys with the green numbers, and for Phillips, they're mostly in gray with blue numbers, and maybe a little tough to see their numbers here tonight. We'll do our best as Hinton has the whistle with a temperature of 52 degrees, wind at his back, and he hits this one into the end zone. It'll be a touchback for Phillips. Guys to watch tonight for the Wildcats, their quarterback, Juan Skangs. He's a senior, number 9. He started a wide receiver 2 years ago. And Kamari Mosby, who had over 200 yards rushing last week, almost 2,000 on the year. He's their main running back, though Skangs can run too. He's got almost 1,000 yards rushing. Interesting,
Lauren, that we won the flip and deferred, and I believe that gives them the opportunity to pick the goal, and they took the wind in their face. Interesting call.
Wind about 10 to 15 miles out of the southwest, blowing across the field. Geneseo in that 3-4 defense. Reed Graddert at nose guard, Jacob Van Dorn and Jake Yarger at the tackles. Cole Hunzacker, Justin Scott, Gunnar Gaines, and Jordan Jackson at the linebacker positions. Quinn Singbush, Will Daniels at the corners, Devin Haxby, and I believe Connor Welch back there at safety. First down play. They run it to the left, and this is Mosby getting free. Out past the 25, stopped at the 26, a 6-yard gain.
Jacob Yarger in the backfield slowed him down. Just about had him, but he wiggled loose and picked up some big yardage. Very elusive back. He was not in any hurry to outrun his blockers. He just waited for the blocks to develop. Nice carry by Phillips.
Second down and 4. Geneseo showing blitz here with Cole Hunzacker backing off the line of scrimmage now. Shotgun formation for Skangs with 3 receivers out to his right. Handoff. And caught by Jacob Van Dorn at the 27 is Mosby.
Van Dorn had him by the ankles. Scott comes in. Justin Scott comes in to finish him off high. Very small gain here. Going to be 3rd and about 3.
Phillips beat Johnsburg last week 28-6. They started quick with an 82-yard touchdown run by Mosby, who had 400 or over 200 yards again rushing last week. 3rd and 3. Early stages here. Quarterback keeper Skangs looking to try to get the first down. He has it as he falls over the 30-yard line to the 33.
Several Leafs went for the fake, and it just slipped right over the left side, over the left tackle. Picked up the yardage. Nifty. They can run this thing from a lot of spots. You don't want to get too far behind this team when they give up less than a touchdown a game.
Give it back to Mosby. Tries his luck off the right side. And is stopped at the 38-yard line. Gain of 4.
Boy, nothing fancy about that. Just straight off. Straight handoff up the middle, and boy, just good blocking. Leafs gonna have to really try to get off that ball and control the line of scrimmage. Right now, Phillips is really doing well at the line of scrimmage.
Gains off the read option, keeps it himself as a first down, and he's corralled at the 50-yard line, stood up, and now the whistle stops the play. It'll be first down for the Wildcats at midfield.
Great deception on the handoff, or the fake handoff actually. there was a couple Leafs tackled the ball carrier that did not have a ball.
Phillips finished second in the state last year. They lost to Rochester in the finals, and looking to get back to the finals this year. They're 11-0 on the season. Skanes play action, rolls right. Justin Scott giving chase. Pass is thrown incomplete, too low for his intended receiver, Weatherly.
Coverage is pretty good over there by Welch, I believe, and Jordan Jackson over there in the area also. The coverage was really nice by the defensive backs. Kind of forced him to throw that low. If he'd have thrown that up high, it might have been tipped away.
Geneseo last week with 8 turnovers by this defense, 4 interceptions, 4 fumble recoveries against Mantino. 2nd down and 10. And a quarterback keeper hit by Reed Graddard at the line of scrimmage. Gets to the Geneseo 48. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for the Wildcats with 9:45 to play in the first quarter. We're scoreless.
Graddard hit him head on at the line of scrimmage, but it looked like the Mantino offensive guard kept his block and maybe pushed Graddard back a little bit, caused him to let go of the ball carrier. Picked up a couple.
Phillips has it at the Geneseo 48, looking at a 3rd and 8. Skanes and shotgun. Quick pass, and it's tipped by Jacob Van Dorn, who knocked down a couple passes last week. And it'll be 4th and 8. We'll see if the Wildcats choose the punt. Looks like they're bringing in the special teams. Geneseo with a large contingent of fans here. Brought a couple buses, and a lot of people drove over here. And they've got the stands about half full. A lot more fans here than Phillips. But again, Geneseo, the larger school, too.
Last week against Mantino, the Leafs needed a little more drama. Had to recover a fumble down deep inside their own territory to get the ball back. This week, they hopefully get a stop right here at midfield.
Here's the punt. High kick into the wind. It's going to come down at the 30, take a bounce for Geneseo, and the Wildcats are going to let it to stop. And instead of trying to stop it at maybe a couple yards further downfield, but it rolls back to the 34-yard line, and that's where we'll see this Geneseo offense coming in here, averaging 37 points per game. They scored 35 last week, but 12 of those points were off defensive touchdowns.
And that's great field position here for the Leafs. They only picked up about 15 yards on that punt, so we're going to see how they can get this thing started. Again, Phillips does not give up a lot of scores.
Devin Haxby and Jordan Jackson start at the halfback wingback positions. We'll expect to see Quinn Singbush later in this game. It's Haxby with the call on 1st down to the 37. It's a 3-yard run to start things off here for Geneseo.
Quinn Singbush feeling better every week. When I saw him in the trainer's room this week, said he's feeling better week by week. So hopefully this is the time where maybe we got a full complement of running backs this week.
Senior quarterback Will Daniels brings him up to the line of scrimmage. Behind him at the fullback position, Cade Humphreys, 2nd and 7. Ryan Tulkas and Ryan Hartsock split left and right. Sweep play to Haxby, hit in the backfield, turns it upfield, and then is hit hard at the 39-yard line. And Geneseo looking at a 3rd and 7. He was taken down by Chris Elmore. He's one of their top linemen defensively. He's 6'1", 258, and then you have Amir Watts, who's 6'3", 270, number 34. He's being looked at least 20 Division I colleges.
That means the Leafs got their work cut out for them here, especially 3rd and 5 here on their first drive. Going to have to try to move some of those Division I prospects out of the way.
Haxby with the 2-yard run, so it's 3rd and 5, 8 minutes to play in a scoreless first quarter. Geneseo with the ball. Daniels, throwback pass to Haxby, catches it at the 35, and you see the speed of the Wildcat defense catching up with that, and Geneseo is going to have to punt as that is short of the 40-yard line.
Well, there's no secret to why they have only allowed 6.5 points a game or somewhere thereabouts in this season. Boy, that is a good defense. They really fly to the ball. A lot of quickness, they got a lot of size, and it's just going to be a good football game if the Leafs are up to the challenge.
So it'll be a 3 and out for Geneseo as they line up to punt. And standing back at his own 25-yard line for Geneseo is Jack Hinton. The Wildcats will send back one punt returner at the 30-yard line. Punt is off after the snap skip to Hinton. Line drive kick to Skanes.
There's a flag.
Clipping in the on the return by the Wildcats as Skanes gets it out to the 35, but this one's going to come back probably going to be around the 15-yard line.
Only returned that ball about 5 yards anyway, but that clip was on Dylan Decker, against Dylan Decker, and the Leafs are going to get the penalty tacked on. Yep, but they're going to get about 15 yards back from the point of infraction. So it's going to move that thing somewhere back around the 15-yard line.
A couple first downs on that opening drive for Phillips, but they had to punt. And now the ball back for the second time. 7:04 to play in the first quarter. No score between Geneseo and Chicago Phillips in this Class 4A quarterfinal game. Winner moving on either against Rockford, Lutheran, and Marengo, and we'll have a scoring update here shortly on that. We knew Lutheran was up 21-12 at halftime.
And again, lost on that play here a little bit because of the penalty. It was a great reception by Hinton. That ball was bouncing back to him, picked it up, got a nice kickoff.
First down play. Mosby to his left, cuts it back up the middle with room to run, breaks a tackle at the 35, breaks another tackle at the 40. And finally tripped up near midfield by Gunnar Gaines. So Mosby, a dangerous running back, especially when he gets in that open field, and he was able to break 2 tackles and extend that play.
Well, he's just got a limp leg there, and every Maple Leaf tried to tackle him, got the hold of that limp leg, just kind of slithered on out of him. That was a very nice run. He was hit at least 4 or 5 times along the way.
A run of 34 yards, setting up Phillips at their own 49-yard line. First down play. Skanes wrapped up by Justin Scott. Loss on the play back to the 46.
Leafs very successful stunning on defense last week, and they're almost going to have to stay active in there, just keep them guessing. And that was a nice stunt by Justin Scott, and he guessed right.
Loss of 3, second down and 13 for the Wildcats. As they send 2 receivers off to this near sideline, motion in the backfield, fake it. Skanes turning it up across midfield and reaches out to the Geneseo 45-yard line. About 4 yards short of the first down. Gain of 9.
Was that Hunsaker and Gunnar Gaines in there, I believe.
Just halfway through this first quarter, no score between Geneseo and Chicago Phillips. Wildcats with the football, looking at a 3rd and 4 from the Geneseo 45-yard line.
This spread offense is just spreading there's the jump. The spread offense is just spreading the Leaf defense out, and it doesn't take much to get ahead of steam.
The right side of the Wildcat offensive line moving before the snap.
There was so many players moved that was had to be on the center. When the center doesn't know the count, it really looks ugly.
Now it's 3rd and 9, ball right at midfield. Skanes by himself in the backfield, motion by Mosby in front of him, going to his right. Play to the right, setting up is Skanes, throwing a long pass down the far sideline, incomplete. Double coverage over there by Will Daniels and Connor Welch, and will be 4th down and 9 from midfield. The Wildcats punted in the situation last time. They're talking it over and now make the decision to bring out the punt team. So they will be punting into this wind, again about a 10 to 15 mile per hour wind, and give the ball back to Geneseo.
The reason they had to reconsider that is because the punt last time did not gain much yardage, but it's just too dangerous a place to give the Leafs the football. Obviously they don't want to do that.
Jordan Jackson, Devin Haxby stand at their own 25-yard line awaiting this punt.
Oh, shanked again. Shanked
High
again,
punt.
get out of the way. Everybody yelling.
Again takes a Geneseo bounce, and it's down at the 37-yard line.
Everybody yelling to get out of the way because the blocker, it was so short that the blockers almost got hit.
Starting offensive line for Geneseo, Hunter Girton, he's a junior. He'll start at center. Nick Anderson, a senior, at the left guard. The right guard is Charlie Weiss, he's a junior. The senior on the right side at tackle is Jacob Van Doren. The left tackle is a junior, Sam Thomas.
Challenge for those for those linemen out there against those Division I prospects.
Cade Humphreys, the fullback, with his first carry, and is hit immediately at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
We talked to Lauren at the onset that this team 2 years ago, they were just learning how to be a good football team. Obviously, they matured quite a bit last year, and this year they're even better yet. This is a good defensive football team. that play right there 2 years ago, we kind of ran rampant with that, and they stifled it.
Second down and 11. They said there was a loss of 1 on the play. Daniels to throw in the pocket, flushed away, and he is taken down for a sack at the 31-yard line. It's a loss of 5 on the play.
Probably a coverage sack there because Daniels looked downfield, just couldn't find anything open, and had to try to scramble for it. Did not get anywhere. Again, we're going backwards here. 3rd and 15 is not where the Leafs want to be. Having trouble moving the football in these first 2 possessions.
Tried 2 passes. We got a short reception on 3rd down last series, and this one results in a sack. 3rd down, 16 for Geneseo from their own 31-yard line. Motion by Haxby. Daniels sets up to the right to throw, and he is down. Sacked again inside the 25, back to the 23-yard line.
Wow.
And number 36, Chris Elmore, again making the sack.
It's beginning to become evident that those highly lauded linemen are really pretty good, because they are coming hard, and I'm not sure if Daniels can even see the receivers downfield because that pass rush is coming hard.
Skanes is back for the Wildcats. He is going to play football at the University of Connecticut as a wide receiver. Jack Hinton in punt formation, standing at his own 12 with 3:05 to play in a scoreless first quarter. Geneseo punting it back to Phillips. This will bounce in front of Skanes at the 45. Scoops it up, brings it off to his right side to the 50, and taken down at the 44-yard line by Cole Hunzacker. A couple first downs in this game by the Wildcats. Geneseo still looking for their initial first down in this first quarter. It'll be the 3rd possession for Chicago Phillips. And they're averaging 44 points per game. They had a huge win in week 3 against Chicago Simeon, 29-18. And Simeon was in the Class 8 semifinals last year. They spread it out, 3 receivers to the left. From the Geneseo 48, pitch it back. Mosby to his left. Haxby coming up, makes contact, slips away. The Geneseo able to pursue and come up with the tackle at the 41-yard line. It's a gain of 2 on the play.
Well covered by the Leafs. It was a nice little pitch. Haxby actually hit him right at the line of scrimmage. He bounced off. These guys run hard. They're not only quick and efficient, but they just run hard. They're hard to bring down.
See, the field position has been changing in favor of the Wildcats in every possession. 2nd down and 8. And movement by the left tackle for the Wildcats. It'll draw a 5-yard penalty.
Seems to be some kind of a question on exactly what's going on. The fellow who jumped off sides came over and, like he was asking the center, why didn't you snap the ball? I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but we'll take that.
2nd down and 13 now after that 5-yard penalty, and the Wildcats will call a timeout. Their coach is Troy McAllister. It's his 5th year, and he's got Phillips in the playoffs 4 of the last 5 years. He's got a record of 43-13 over those 5 years. He's been the right man for this job. Has really kind of turned the football program around here. They kind of turned the school around too, as far as educational system goes. So it's a program that's been very successful here recently.
Well, it's good for them. That is quite a challenge here to come up in the public league, public school system in the public leagues football-wise, and really try to get put inside discipline and really get everything turned around. And they've done a fine job of that. You can see the way this team warmed up. They're serious about this game. They're disciplined. They practice with discipline, or they couldn't play this well.
Geneseo has them in a 2nd down and 13 when we resume play. And again, Geneseo usually, as we've seen the last few games, as the game goes along, they get better and better. They start figuring out this offense. They're well prepared, but just I think the big thing here, Bob, is just figuring out their speed and getting accustomed to that, because this is a very fast Wildcats team on both offense and defense.
I would agree with that. The longer they weather this storm, I think the better the chances are for the Leafs. They'll make the adjustments necessary. They'll start reading.
Mosby in motion on 2nd and 13. Scanes fake
Bounce
handoff.
off.
And Jordan Jackson read that, stayed home, came up and made the tackle at the 45-yard line of Geneseo. It'll be 3rd down and 13.
Everybody heading that way. Humphreys was over there. Jackson was over there. The whole left side of the line was staying home. Well played.
Minute 45 to play in the first quarter. No score between Chicago, Phillips, and Geneseo. Wildcat football, 3rd and 12. Reverse it. Coming around to the left on a pitch, and Geneseo makes the tackle. Cole Hunzacker at the 40-yard line with a penalty marker thrown as that tackle was being made.
Didn't see a face mask or anything, but the hands are being, the hands of disgust are being thrown by Chicago Phillips, so it's against Phillips. The Leafs are going to have an opportunity here to force a 4th down and about 7, or take the penalty and move them back. It's actually a tough decision. They're going to move them back. They would go for 4th and 7 in this territory, especially knowing that the last couple punts have not been very effective. A net gain of about 13 yards, 13 to 15 yards on the 2.
Wadir Weatherly with that reverse, number 7 for the Wildcats.
This makes about 3rd and almost 20.
And a minute 5 to play in the first, clock running.
This is territory where if they hold them again, they could force a punt. If they get 4th and anything near doable, they'll go for it.
Gaines with pressure coming from Gaines, gets it out, and it is caught, intercepted. Will Daniels at the 25. Daniels is hit at the 35 and goes down. So Geneseo comes up with another interception. Will Daniels has his 5th interception of the season to lead the Geneseo defense, and that's good as a punt for the Wildcats.
Actually, that's better than a bad punt right there. I think that's probably maybe the best field position they've got out of all those. But they've started their first 3 right in that same territory, have not been able to move the football and get a 1st down.
Credit Gunnar Gaines with that interception too. He was there putting a hit on Scanes as he let it go. Daniels has Geneseo at the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. Toss it to Haxby to his right, looking for room, and is tripped up at the 38-yard line, a gain of 3 as we have 30 seconds to play in the quarter.
Man, they fly the ball well. It looked like a hole was going to open up, and it just closed just as quick as you saw that. Did get about 3 or 4 yards on that play, though.
Geneseo will have to run one more play, I believe, but now
unsuccessful trying to throw the ball in that last series. They're going to try to keep this on the ground for a while, maybe.
I think Coach Johnson's telling the Geneseo offense not to snap the ball. We're down to 5 seconds. And we're going to let the quarter come to a close here. Well, a scoreless game. That's what we kind of expected between 2 of the best defenses in Class 4A in this matchup between Geneseo and Chicago Phillips. At the end of 1, 0-0, Geneseo and Phillips.
This TV 50 telecast is sponsored in part by Hazelwood Homes, Dairy Queen, Eric Henderson and Greg Anderson of Country Financial, Turpins of Geneseo, Geneseo Telephone Company, Central Bank, B&B Lawn Equipment and Cyclery, Snap Fitness, Vandemore Funeral Home, courtesy Ford of Davenport, Northside Rexall Drug, Hammond Henry Hospital, ProTech Auto Body, Village Home Stores, Liberty Village, Farmers National Bank, Kimberly BMW of Davenport. Please patronize our sponsors and let them know you appreciate their support of this TV 50 telecast.
Start of the second quarter. Class 4A quarterfinals, Geneseo and Chicago Phillips, no score. And Geneseo with the football looking at a 2nd and 7 from their own 38-yard line.
Phillips with 3 possessions have nothing to show for it on the scoreboard. Leafs just got their 3rd possession here, ready to start it off about 2nd and a long 6. Maybe they can be the one to break the ice right here on this possession.
No score in this game, if you figured the quarter was won there by Phillips.
Statistically, zeros on both sides. So I would say that the fact that the Leafs did not have the ball at the beginning and they have it now, wow.
Jordan Jackson on that counter play, and 3 Wildcats in the backfield. No gain, will be 3rd and 7.
He was lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage on that play. They were, as you said, there was 3 Wildcats just ready to nail him as soon as he got the handoff. This is a vicious defense. Geneseo's offensive line is used to controlling the line of scrimmage, and they've met their match tonight. This is going to be a battle inside there in the trenches.
Geneseo trying to pick up their first down of the game. 3rd and 6 from their own 39. Jackson in motion, and Daniel swallowed up, sacked back at the 35. They got back in the backfield in 2 seconds, and Daniels had nothing to do but get sacked.
No, again, another coverage sack. There was nobody open, and Daniels had to tuck it in. He has not actually, has he even got a pass off yet?
He's completed that one pass on that opening drive. That's only for about
correct.
a yard.
For about a yard, that is correct. Otherwise, he has just kind of bit the dust because he doesn't even have time to look at the receivers.
Now Jack Hinton's gonna have to punt into this win. And Skanes is at the zone 35. Hinton is at his own 22. He's averaging about 30 yards per punt. And it gets it off, almost blocked. Hits at the 42, takes a Geneseo roll. And it's gonna keep going inside the 35, finally blown dead at the 32-yard line.
That might be his best punt of the night, and the first 2 are with the win. Just got that thing off, almost blocked, as you mentioned. But Leafs now have good defensive position, or reasonable defensive position.
Check that Lutheran, Rockford Lutheran Marengo score. It's 21-19 Lutheran with about 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter.
Marengo must be good because Lutheran definitely is.
Skanes with a high snap. He's going to keep it himself. Breaks free at the 40 to the 45 and runs out of bounds at the Geneseo 47-yard line. Almost a broken play there with that high snap, but just show his quickness and his mobility. Gets free for a first down.
He's just ridiculous quick. Just had to jump to get that ball. Almost went over his head, and before you knew it, he was around left end and he had space.
Phillips first down. They have it at the Geneseo 47-yard line. 10:30 to play before halftime, no score. It's Mosby crashing off to the left side and stood up by Jacob Van Dorn and Jake Yarger. 2-yard run inside the Geneseo 45. No huddle here by the Wildcats. They are quickly at the line of scrimmage trying to pick up the pace. Loaded backfield now by Ron Skanes. It's Mosby running off that power formation, stiff arms a defender at the 40, gets free, sidesteps another one, and is finally tackled from behind by Jake Yarger at the 25. He left a lot of Maple Leafs in the dust there.
Oh, he just cuts quickly. It's really tough. There's open field, and he's got blockers in front of him. Just about every one of those, all he needed to do is wait for his block, and boy, they know how to do that. Leafs had a tough time out there, and Phillips is moving the football.
And now Phillips jumping off before the snap, and that's a 5-yard penalty there. And now the official saying the defense moved. I didn't see that. Calling Geneseo offsides. And that was the back judge that came in and made that call. 5-yard penalty against the Geneseo defense. It's 1st and 5 now for Phillips at the Green Machine 19. Now what's going on here? Oh, he's going to mark it off now? All right.
Okay, there's something else. He's marking off 10. He's marking off 15. What?
Marked it inside the 15. They put it at the 13-yard line. I don't know what.
It's the 1st down. I'm not sure what he called.
It should be a 5-yard penalty, but they marked it off 10 yards.
Well, the ball wasn't even snapped on 1st down, so they gave him the 10 yards.
Skeins, quarterback keeper.
Man.
Slips out of 2 defenders. They had him wrapped up at the 15.
Hunziker and Yarger both had him, and he somehow slipped out of that. I didn't hear the call.
No gain on the play.
Sorry, the announcers said what the call was against Geneseo, but I never did. Couldn't hear what he said.
Okay.
Headphones.
Not the greatest PA system here. We're on the other side of the...
So there was a loss on that play. So 2nd and 11.
Football at the Geneseo 14-yard line. Skeins is going to hand it off to Mosby up the middle. Fumbled the ball, but the play was dead. And stopped at the 13-yard line. So
like to see the instant replay. We got a Leaf getting up slow here, and that is going to be Jordan Jackson.
Geneseo's got the Wildcats now 3rd and 11.
Hit by the interior of the Geneseo line on that play. Again, gain of about a foot. Well played by the interior line. This is red zone defense again. They do get tough. Big 3rd down play here.
No score, 8:26 to play for halftime. Skeins going to keep it himself. He's hit at the 20, drop for a loss by Jordan Jackson. And now it's 4th down and long.
Jordan Jackson, who just got up slow on the previous play, busted through. That was a read by the quarterback. Thought he was going to slip Jackson, but Jackson got there too quick.
Field goal here will be from 30. It'll be a 37-yard try with wind aided, and they're going to go for it and not kick the field goal.
Yep, they just brought in a couple different receivers, and they're going to go for 4th and very long here.
4th and 17 from the 20-yard line of Geneseo. Skeins the throw, in the pocket, no rush, over the middle. His pass is caught for a touchdown.
Ah, man, just thread the needle. There's 2 defenders right there, and it just slipped right between them.
Gaddafi Green, number 8, makes the touchdown catch for Phillips, and they go up 6-0, 7:35 to play in the 2nd quarter on 4th down and 17.
Had them with their ears pinned back to the wall, 4th and long, and they just executed extremely well. Leafs had a little zone right there that just kind of slipped between 2 players. One hit him as the ball was received, but just couldn't, and I didn't catch who they were actually, but they just couldn't knock it loose.
Extra point is good, and it's 7-0 Phillips as Geneseo gives up an early touchdown here in the 2nd quarter on a 4th down play.
Well, the inability for the Leafs to move the football offensively has got to stop now, because there are points on the board for Chicago Phillips, and we're not going to win this game, obviously, until we put more than 7 points on the board.
Andrew Pischke and Drew Rapps will head back deep for Geneseo on this kick return. We'll get the Phillips scoring drive here. It took 8 plays, 68 yards, 3 minutes and 2 seconds. A 17-yard touchdown pass from Skeins to Green. I think it was 20 yards, and it was 7-0.
A little bit of wind out here today, and the kicker can't keep the ball on the tee. It's fallen off for the 3rd time. They're going to have somebody hold it. It just keeps blowing off. Leafs have not received a kickoff yet this game. They kicked off to start the game, did the Leafs, and this is Phillips' first kick.
CI with the kickoff, end over end, coming down to Andrew Pischke at the 12-yard line. Pischke out to his left with room to run, and now is hit along the sideline, stopped at the Geneseo 28-yard line. Geneseo brings their offense out.
Looked like he was going to try to take that thing up the middle and decide to dip on the outside. Really only had one guy there, but they're a very sure tackling team too, as well as they do that as well as they do everything else.
Double wing formation, Haxby and Jackson at the wings with Haxby in motion behind Humphreys. They'll give it to Cade Humphreys off the right side, and he is hit low, driven up, and dropped at the 32-yard line. Gain of 4.
There's a form tackle for you. Picked him up right off the ground with a low entry and just dropped him. But a nice gain for Humphreys. We'll take that. 4 yards on first down.
Ryan Hartsock running in the play to Will Daniels.
They're packing it in. It looks like you could throw against this. It really does look like they are packing this in so tight. But we've tried that, and you can't get the pass off.
Counter play, Jackson slips, coming around the corner. Lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. We'll give him a yard on the play. It'll be a 3rd down and 5 for Geneseo.
Actually, he's moving that chain up. He's going to get about 3rd and 4. And Jackson slipped as he's trying to turn the corner.
Geneseo trying to get a first down in this half.
You hate to keep calling critical downs here on the first half, but got to pick up a first down on this 3rd down.
Hartsock and Tulkas split out on the ends from their tight end positions. Daniels over the middle, long pass, and incomplete as Daniels gets knocked down after the pass, and Geneseo will have to punt. Their 4th punt coming up in this first half.
Punting against the wind one more time here. Could be tough sledding here on this punt.
Wildcats are even playing without their Division I linebacker, Amani Jones.
I don't even want to see him when they got him in there. This defense really runs to the ball.
Hinton to punt from his own 20. Standing there, gets the punt away. Out to this near sideline. Takes a Geneseo bounce at the 50. Almost hits a Wildcat player. And is down at the 37-yard line. 5:57 to play in the first half. Geneseo trailing Chicago Phillips 7-0. Wildcats will get the football back.
All things considered, that's a good punt. Got a nice bounce and no return. So the Leafs have a defensive position here again at the 37 of Phillips.
Geneseo 1 play away from getting that ball back from Phillips on their last possession, but they connected on a 4th down play, touchdown pass for the only score.
They've had a break, but bend but don't break philosophy here a little bit, but they eventually been able to stiff up, but that one pass slipped out, down the middle and just broke their back on that play.
From the 37, Mosby 7 yards deep, hit the line of scrimmage. It's Jacob Van Dorn wrapping him up high.
Van Dorn had a grip on him that time. He wasn't going to lose it. Jordan Jackson comes over the top to finish him off. Picked up about 1.5 yards. I don't know if there's any wearing down with this team or not. I'm not sure about the durability of this team. They look like pretty good athletes.
2-yard gain for Mosby. Skanes will hand it back to him. First down run and more. And backs his way over the midfield line to the Geneseo 48-yard line. They'll move the chains.
You know, our defense is, standing up the offensive blockers, and for some reason we just can't fall off the block. Those offensive linemen are really holding their blocks.
Power running formation. Mosby through the middle, breaks a tackle as he spins away and out to the Geneseo 40-yard line.
How did he get out of that?
I'm wondering that too.
That looked like a stone wall, and he just went right through it.
Mosby with a head of steam playing 6 yards deep. He's going to come out of this play, kind of jogging over there gingerly. Right, just needs a rest. Skanes will take it, and he's double teamed and dropped at the 37-yard line of Geneseo. We're
getting down in territory where the Leafs are going to need a turnover, going to need a break of some sort. They do run with the ball hanging out there a little bit. It looks like they could jar that ball loose if they get them just right.
They're signaling first down on the field. They have not moved the markers, and now they will. without making a measurement here. Ball at the Geneseo 36-yard line, 4:35 to play. We're in the first half. Geneseo trailing 7-0 to Chicago Phillips. Blitz coming for Geneseo. And it's Gaines who does the read option, keeps it himself, and gets tripped up at the line of scrimmage out to the 34.
Hunziker gets the trip up, and he comes up wondering why the refs aren't calling holding or something. He was laying on the ground and it looked like the guy was holding him down, but he was able to trip him up. Picked up only a yard and a half.
Mosby back in for the Wildcats. Football at the Geneseo 34, 2nd and 8. Mosby gets the call. Fires up the middle, inside the 30, down to the 28-yard line. It's going to be a couple yards short of the first down.
I think we talked to these Leaf defensive players here about this first half. They're probably wondering why he's not going down. These running backs just aren't going down.
Mosby hit up high here by Justin Scott, and I don't know how 64 doesn't get called for a hold. He's got his arm right around Justin Scott's shoulder pads.
He's trying to tackle Justin Scott the whole time he's tackling him. But we haven't had a lot of calls except for that 10-yard penalty, which was definitely against the Leafs last time, and we still don't know what that was. 4th and a yard.
Clock running, 3 minutes to play before halftime.
Leafs have had a lot of 4th downs, held Chicago Phillips a lot of 4th downs. The one that counted, of course, was the one that they had about 4th and 20, or really 4th and long, 4th and 15 or something, and just threaded the needle on a touchdown pass. Big one here coming up.
Geneseo looking to put a stop to this offense. Mosby, stutter step, has the first down. Inside the 15, down to the 13-yard line. Or rather, the 23-yard line, excuse me. Clock will stop for a second. Now they restart it. 2:35 to play before halftime.
We couldn't really trust that they were going to just run for that first down, so we couldn't pack the box in. We didn't have enough guys up there to stop that play.
Wildcats taking their time, bringing this play in. They're going to try to take this clock down as much as they can. We're going to be down to 2:10 when they snap it.
Once again, Leafs are going to need a big...
And a timeout taken by Chicago Phillips. Stops the clock, 2 minutes and 8 seconds to play in the second quarter. The score is Chicago Phillips 7, Geneseo 0. First down play coming up when we get back to action for the Wildcats.
What's more concerning about the score, obviously you don't want to be down by 7-0, but the Leafs' inability to move the football so far, they're going to have some major adjustments made at halftime, because they got to come out and score some points in the second half if they can't get the football back here and pick one up.
4 possessions in the first half for the Geneseo offense. They have not converted a third down, so they've had to punt 4 times. And Phillips got on the scoreboard on their last possession. Again, they converted a 4th and 17 from the 20-yard line.
Sit on the 23-yard line of Geneseo currently, and trying to put more points on the board. If the Leafs can get a stop here over the second half, go in and make some adjustments.
1 timeout left for the Wildcats. 1st and 10, Mosby breaks a tackle through the line of scrimmage, the 10, the 5, and he's into the end zone, standing up. It's 13-0. Chicago Phillips over Geneseo. '23-yard touchdown run for Mosby. And he came in here with a ton of touchdowns too. That's his 16th touchdown rushing this season.
Boy, they just, he hit that point of attack hard. He comes through that line of scrimmage and just scoots through there. Tough to bring down. You can't arm tackle that guy.
Extra point on its way through the uprights and good. And got some cars parked behind the field here. We've had some fans over there catching the ball so it doesn't hit a couple of parked cars.
Well, the car that got its grill bashed in at the preliminaries is back. They moved it for a while, but he's back.
Wildcats have scored 2 touchdowns in this quarter. They lead Geneseo 14-0, 2 minutes and 1 second to play in the second quarter. Scoring drive for Chicago Phillips, 9 plays, 63 yards, 3 minutes and 56 seconds. A touchdown run there by Mosby of 23 yards. It's 14-0.
Chicago Phillips has a lot of very fine athletes. We're having a hard time keeping the ball in the tee again here, trying to kick off. A lot of fine athletes, and like you said, they've really got this program set up where they're working hard and they're serious about it. And this is a good football team.
I think Geneseo's longest play of the first half has been 4 yards, 4 or 5 yards, and they have not been able to pass the ball at all. End over kick coming down, Andrew Pischke with a wall in front of him at the 20. Here comes the speed, and the tackle made at the 19.
Wow, that is just really speed.
Anthony Davis with the tackle.
Anthony Davis just outran that wall. It looked like he was trying to, Pischke was trying to get behind that wall, and he just ran right around it and just outran it.
Geneseo trying to put something together here in the last 2 minutes of the first half. They will have the football to start the third quarter, but they trail by 2 scores now, 14-0. Phillips again with 7 guys in the box. Long toss coming out to Quinn Singbush. He's hit at the 20, dives forward to the 25-yard line.
That could be their biggest gain from scrimmage so far in the game. If they can just get one outside past the line of scrimmage, everybody is in the box. There's going to be one guy deep. It's going to be a foot race. They can just break through that.
Geneseo has all 3 timeouts left. They got a 2nd and 5 from their own 24-yard line. Ryan Tolka splits out to the left. Singbush in motion behind Humphreys. And Daniels keeps it himself. Going to lose a yard on the play back to the 24.
Another critical third down here. There's 1 minute and 15 seconds left, and if they have to kick this football away with 1 minute left in the game, or the half, Phillips is going to try to put in a score on the board. They got to pick up a first down here.
Daniels going out of bounds, so the clock is stopped. 1 minute 15 to play in the second. Geneseo 3rd and 5. They're 0 for 4 today on third down conversions. Looking to pick this up. Singbush on the wing to the left. Humphreys resets in the backfield. Motion by Jordan Jackson. Takes the toss, looking for room to run, but he's hit in the backfield, loses yards back to the 21-yard line.
Needed one block out there. Got Jackson down. Yeah, he's working his way up.
Jackson coming off the field, limping a little bit.
Needed one block out there, and he would have picked up a first down. He would have turned the corner, but just couldn't get that block. The defensive end just went right through it, shoved the block right back into Jackson, and made the tackle. It was a great play.
Now Phillips will take their last time out of the first half and stop the clock with 50 seconds to play, and they will get the football back on this punt. The officials talking to each other. I believe there was a timeout called.
Well, the clock is stopped. Doesn't seem to be anybody treating it like a timeout.
They're resetting the clock, I think, to 55 seconds. And I'm confused.
Wonder why.
They've got, the scoreboard shows no timeouts left for Phillips. Apparently they did not stop the clock when that timeout was called. Jack Hinton to punt, standing at his own 10. Vaughn Skangs at his own, at the Geneseo 49.
Need a good snap and a good kick, and then a good 55 seconds of defense.
Phillips will let him
snap. There's the kick.
Spirals and come out of bounds though.
It is.
And almost going in the trash can.
It's not going to gain much yardage on that thing because it went out.
So right, well, are they going to mark it off here? They spotted at the Phillips 49-yard line. 48 seconds for Phillips. no timeouts left, and they lead Geneseo 14-0 in this first half, Class 4A quarterfinals.
That's a favorable spot for the Leafs. The ball did end up in Phillips territory by 1 yard, so it's 49 to Phillips. Leafs got to run 48 seconds off the clock defensively.
Skanes throwing the ball. It's dropped by Mosby. Skanes had pressure coming, setting up that screen, and Mosby could not handle the pass. 2nd down and 10.
Fortunately, he decided to run before he caught the football. Fortunately for the Leafs, because that play could have got some yardage. It is a incomplete pass, of course, so stop the clock at 43 seconds. Still plenty of time left for that offense. Very, very explosive.
Two receivers split out wide to the left. Geneseo is going to call their first timeout as they took a look to see what the Wildcats were going to do on this play, and then want to talk it over.
Geneseo, that is their first charge timeout of the first half.
Coach Mackey is deciding what they want to do. It seems like he would be a little more preventive right now and not take big risks, but on the other hand, I don't know what it takes to stop this offense. They are very good. Leafs are going to have to talk about it at halftime and try to get out of this. If they can hold this at a 2-possession deficit in going into halftime, you know, that's not overcomable at all, or not. It's doable.
After the timeout, Geneseo's lined up on defense. Here come the Wildcats. 2nd down and 10. Geneseo's got the only turnover in this game, interception by Will Daniels. But it's been the Wildcats that have scored the points. They've got 2 touchdowns in this quarter on a touchdown run and a touchdown pass. Skanes out of his quarterback position, hands it off, no, keeps it himself, and he is across the midfield to the 49, 3rd down and 8.
Clock running, and Phillips out of timeouts. It's going to be 3rd and about 8. So again, the Leafs just need to avoid the big play right here. Very, very likely put this one in the air.
Motion by Mosby. Skanes rolls to the right, throw back to Elmore, and he drops the pass.
That was a low pass. That one was not as much a drop as it was just throwing it at his feet. The screen pass earlier was just really just hit the guy in the hands. But again, the clock stops here, but it's 4th down. The Leafs got an opportunity here with 11 seconds to make sure they don't muff this. Got to just receive it and probably regroup at halftime.
11th man coming in late here for the Wildcats on 4th and 8 from midfield. High snap, Geneseo coming after it. Van Doren tried to block it a little bit late, and a nice punt here at the 15. It's going to roll inside the 5-yard line and be stopped at the 2 with 0.2 seconds. And Geneseo will have to take a snap.
The only thing they have to do now is take a snap and fall on the football and go regroup at halftime. 14-zip, and the Leafs got their work cut out for them. Have not been able to move the football.
We'll check on Jordan Jackson. He's back in, so that's a good sign for Geneseo. Ball inside the 5-yard line at the 3 with 0.2 seconds, 0.2 of a second on the clock. Geneseo just need to take a snap and not get tackled in the end zone. Daniels under center now. And he will try taking a knee, and he gets hit as he's trying to take a knee, and he's stopped at the within the 1-yard line. So that will end the quarter and end the half. The halftime score: Chicago Phillips 14, the Geneseo Green Machine
is sponsored
0.
in part by Hazelwood Homes, Dairy Queen, Eric Henderson and Greg Anderson of Country Financial, Turpins of Geneseo. Geneseo Telephone Company. Central Bank. B&B Lawn Equipment and Cyclery. Snap Fitness. Vandemore Funeral Home. Courtesy Ford of Davenport. Northside Rexall Drug. Hammond Henry Hospital. ProTech Auto Body. Village Home Stores. Liberty Village. Farmers National Bank. Kimberly BMW of Davenport. Please patronize our sponsors and let them know you appreciate their support of this TV50 telecast.
We're ready to get the second half underway from Gately Stadium in Chicago with Bob Pettit. I'm Lauren Lemke. Class 4A quarterfinals. Geneseo behind on the scoreboard here. They've been shut out in the first half of play by Chicago Phillips. The Wildcats lead Geneseo 14-0. Phillips going to the state championship game last season, finished runner-up to Rochester. They're undefeated, 11-0. They've only given up 67 points all year on defense. Geneseo's going to get the football to start things here in the third quarter, trying to make something happen and get back in the game. No first downs in that first half by Geneseo. They had 5 possessions and had to punt all 5 times. They will have the wind at their back to start things, moving from left to right.
Some crazy things happening in 4A, as you've been talking about, Lauren. The Rochester losing today, and Rockford Lutheran down by 10. That could be very close to being over. Also, 2 teams a lot of people picked to be in the championship game could be out today also. No matter who wins this football game tonight, there's going to be a really good football team go home.
I agree. Here's the end-over-end kick, fielded at the 20-yard line by Ryan Tolkas. Tolkas to the 30-yard line, and that's it. And that's where Geneseo will start this second half as they come running out from the sideline. Hunter Girton at center, Nick Anderson and Charlie Weiss at the guards, Sam Thomas, Jacob Van Doren at the tackles.
Well, this is start. Leafs won the toss and deferred to the second half for this reason right here, so they get the football right here, take the ball downfield, open the second half with some positive momentum.
Off balance line to the left side, it's Humphreys running up the middle, breaks a tackle. Humphreys out to the 45-yard line. It's a gain of 16, and Geneseo with only 1 total yards of total offense in the first half. They pick up 16 yards on the first play.
Well, there's your start. There's your first big gain and your first down of the game for the Leafs. And this is what they have to do.
Geneseo fans have had
just need more of that.
Not much to cheer about, but they are into this game now. Geneseo has it at their own 46-yard line. Second play of the third quarter. Toss to Jordan Jackson, running off to his left. Has a block out in front. He's tackled up high at the 47-yard line. We have a penalty marker down near midfield.
Looking to see who was in that area and didn't even see a blocker in that area. It's a logical place for a hold. That's what they're going to call, unfortunately. Didn't even see a blocker where he threw that flag, but then he moved the flag back 4 yards, so that was more at the point of attack.
Geneseo with just 1 penalty in the first half. It was a 10-yard penalty on the defense, apparently for lining up in the neutral zone. That led to a touchdown for Phillips. And now Geneseo moving the ball here on their first 2 plays. They're going to be called for a penalty and move it back to the 37-yard line, 1st and 18. And a timeout taken by Phillips, or is there an injury? No, there is a timeout taken by Phillips.
That's a little bit bizarre.
Phillips had 4 penalties in that first half. I don't think they were called for holding at all, and that's our first holding penalty of the night.
This would be a moment of momentum for Phillips, and usually you call the timeout when you're trying to stop momentum, not when you just get it, but it must have been something they just really wanted to make sure that they took advantage of right here. Unfortunately, again, Leafs come out, pick up a nice gainer on first down. On second down, turn the corner out there by Jackson. Looked like he was going to pick up some yardage, and we got the flag. Have it all called back. 10-yard penalty, and it's going to be first and 20 for the Leafs. Still need that big gainer.
Ryan Talka splits out wide right. Jackson on the wing to the right. Singbush on the wing to the left. Singbush in motion. It's Cade Humphreys, a fullback, for a 1-yard run to the 36. That time Phillips was ready for it.
Yeah, they're not even going to move that stick on that one. Yeah, he was tackled not accidentally either by about 3 guys. He was not going anywhere.
Second down and 20 now for the Green Machine, trailing 14-0 to Chicago Phillips. 10:54 to play in the third. Toss to Jackson, drops the pitch, picks it back up, and he is going to lose yards back inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. It's a loss of 8 on the play.
Absolutely, Lauren. It was very fortunate that he picked that up, because he hit him in the hands, bounced out, and he finally picked it up. But boy, Leafs are going backwards. Third and very, very long.
Daniels.
They did apparently at halftime take the same summarization that I did, that we were talking about, that you almost have to keep the ball on the ground because we're just not getting anything, not even getting a look in the air. But in this situation here, you just got to put it up.
Pistol formation for Daniels. Long pass here, intended for Quinn Singbush. Overthrown and incomplete. So Geneseo started out looking good here in the first play. They got 16 yards, but now they get backed up on a penalty and a couple tackles behind the line of scrimmage, and they'll have to punt.
Trying to get the gun out of the holster, but we shot ourselves in the foot. Just happened. Do have the wind at our back here. Hinton didn't have a lot of opportunity to punt with the wind at his back, it seemed like in that first half.
Okay, Juan Skangs is back at the 40-yard line to return this punt. Hinton averaged 31 yards per kick in that first half. Drives this one towards the far sideline, and Skangs is going to go back and try to pick this up. He drops it and now falls on it. That wasn't the smartest play there. Geneseo was down quickly. Cole Hunsaker in the area.
Hunsaker was about a step away when he finally got that under control down there, and that could have been the break the Leafs are looking for. You got to have some kind of a break to turn this thing around here.
Geneseo defense needs to come up with a stop here. Phillips has scored on their last 2 possessions in that second quarter. Skangs in shotgun. Mosby, 124 yards rushing that first half. His first carry, eludes a defender, slips through a tackle, and he is out to the 45-yard line.
He sidesteps just as quick as he goes forward. That little sidestep, juke step is just phenomenal.
You think you got him?
You look like you got him, and he just goes the opposite way.
15-yard run for Phillips, and they start off hot in this third quarter on their first series.
Key to last week's win against Montano was the turnovers, and we just haven't been able to get one.
Skangs, penalty marker thrown. He slips past a couple Geneseo tacklers and has it out to the 43-yard line, but let's check the penalty.
Jacob Van Dorn out there clapping, obviously felt somebody was held there. But the hold was so far downfield that they're going to end up with a gain on the play, it looks like. Let's see where they're going to mark that hold. No, they're not. That's not correct. I thought the other official who had the ball was going to step off 10 yards. So it is going to be first and long.
Football back to the 37-yard line. It's going to be first and 18 for the Wildcats. 9:30 to play in the third quarter. It's 14-0. Chicago Phillips over Geneseo. Mosby tackled by Cole Hunsaker after a gain of about 1. And Hunsaker tackled him at the ankles. That's a good place to bring him down.
It is. That was a great play because I tell you, they got some blockers out there. I'm watching these blockers, and they are just vicious. They put their head into you, and they just, we got people bouncing. Fighting back is hard, but these guys are big and strong and quick.
Second down and 17 now for the Wildcats. Mosby with room to run up the middle and taken down by Justin Scott at the 43-yard line. 3rd and 11 coming up for the Wildcats. I think that's the difference, Bob, from 2 years ago. This offense and defensive lines for the Wildcats. They always had the special skilled players with the speed, and now they've got the offensive line and defensive line.
They do. They just got they got a full core out there, both sides of the football. It's just they can just play at every spot. But this is a third and 11 for the Leafs. This would be a good place to get a stop right here. That was a great tackle by Scott.
Skane's going to keep it himself to midfield, trying to get to the marker. He's going to be close. Where do they spot it at? Right at the marker, I believe, at the 45-yard line.
He's going to give him the first down, it looks like, by about a foot. Yep, he's going to move the stakes.
Skane's going to UConn next year for his college education and playing football. And
you almost know he's going to do that, and you just can't stop it. He's just really good.
Ball at the Geneseo 45-yard line now for the Wildcats. 1st and 10. Mosby gets between two defenders again, just slips through and has the football down to the Geneseo 39.
Sidesteps through a couple, spin moves off another, picks up some big yardage. Just a good football team. Leafs are battling, no doubt about it. They're battling. Kiko Pena checks in for Gratter. No, Gratter's staying in the game, checking in for. Somebody has to leave the field.
Connor Welch left.
Oh, Connor Welch left. Okay, they're going to beef up the line here. Expect trying to pack it inside a little bit. So Kiko Pena adds the extra lineman in.
Phillips was 1 of 7 passing in that first half. That was Skanes, and the only pass completion went for a touchdown, but it's been the running game that's been killing Geneseo in this game. Justin Scott misses the tackle. This is Mosby inside the 20, down to the 20-yard line. Another first down for the Wildcats.
Daniels with the tackle down there eventually, along with turn a little bit. Haxby, is that who you had on it?
Yep. 1st and 10.
They're just moving the football at will.
Mosby again to the left side.
Oh, nice play by Hunsaker.
Brings down Mosby at the 16-yard line. It's a 4-yard run.
That was a solo right there. If he doesn't make that tackle, he's going to get some big yardage.
14-0. Phillips leading Geneseo. 6:50 to play in the 3rd quarter. Wildcat football at the Geneseo 16-yard line. Skanes off the play fake, keeps it himself. And Hunsaker with the tackle at the 10.
Hit hard, I believe, by Yarger. Somebody bounced him off of there, and then Hunsaker finished him off, but he bounced off a really hard hit. I believe it was Jacob Yarger. My goodness.
It is 1st and goal now for the Wildcats at the 9. Daniels covering one receiver wide to the right side. They'll run it back to the left with Skanes, and he's hit for a loss on the play. And that's Jake Yarger.
Covered by plenty. Yarger and Hunsaker was in there. Obviously Van Dorn. Van Dorn's everywhere. But again, played well.
Wildcats not in any hurry this time to snap the ball. They've been going with the hurry-up offense, no huddle. And they'll bring the play in from the sidelines on 2nd and goal from the Geneseo 10.
Running against the wind here in the 3rd quarter. Leafs will be going against the wind in the 4th quarter. Hard to make up points against the wind.
Skanes with a quick slant. It's caught at the 1-yard line. 3rd and goal coming up from the 1.
Yep, they are going to give him the catch. Couldn't tell right what they were signaling first, but they are going to give him the catch.
Donald Gardner with the reception for Phillips.
The receiver was upset. It looked like maybe it hit the ground, but he was just upset it didn't get in the end zone.
Mosby up the middle, runs into the end zone, touchdown. Phillips with a marker on the play in the Phillips backfield, and they are going to be whistled for an illegal shift.
So that moves it back. We're going to have 3rd and goal at the 6. Makes a goal line stand a little bit more doable.
5-yard penalty. 3rd down, they'll redo it from the 6-yard line. Receivers left and right. Skanes hit immediately and is going to be dropped back at the 10-yard line. Loss of 4 on the play. Reed Graddert and Jacob Van Doren.
Jordan Jackson had his shirt. Wasn't going to let him go. He was trying to get out of that mess, but just wasn't going to get it done. So it's going to be 4th and long, and are they going to try to kick a field goal? Looks like they are.
Trying to make this a 3-score game, and this will be a attempt from 27 yards. Ball spotted at the 17.
Leafs have been needing something good to happen. A missed field goal here would be a good start.
Kick on its way. It's a low kick, but just enough.
It just creeped over that crossbar.
And it's 17-0. Chicago Phillips leading Geneseo. 4 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. So Geneseo's going to need football 3 times now, down by 17.
That crossbar is about 10 feet off the ground. I think that ball never got more than 11 feet off the ground, but it was just enough to get it over the bar, add 3 points to score, and make that Leaf challenge just a little bit more.
Kickoff return team goes on the field for Geneseo with Drew Rapps and Andrew Pischke back deep. Sam Welch and Ryan Tokas up 10 yards further. Waiting to restart this game with the Phillips kickoff as the Wildcats are up 17-0. High kick coming down, and 2 players run into each other. Tokas will pick it up to the 30, Tokas to the 40, and taken down at the 48-yard line. Good return by Tokas. That looked like it was going to be a disaster as he ran into, I think it was, I don't know who else was in there, but we got a good return out of it.
That was crazy. It looked like probably because of the helmets and the wind, they couldn't hear what they were doing.
Field goal by Phillips, capped a 12-play, 61-yard drive. Phillips has had all 3 scores here. They've at least gone 60 or more yards against the Geneseo defense for their 17 points. Second back, it's Jordan Jackson. Out to the Phillips 48-yard line. Gain of 3 on the play.
They just stay home well. They just play defense extremely well. There's just, nobody's going for, they're just not going for the ball fakes. They're holding their ground, just doing a really good job defensively, and the Leafs have really got a challenge ahead of them.
Tokas splits out wide left, motion by Singbush. Snap is fumbled, and Cade Humphreys, I think, fell back on it. He's going to get a couple yards out of the play. It'll be 3rd down and about 6 for Geneseo at the Phillips 47.
That was great alertness by Cade Humphreys, and it was him that went forward. That ball got kicked around, and it looked like a Phillips player had it wrapped in his hands, and Humphreys pounced on it, rolled over, and pulled it away. Once again, 3rd and about 6, along 6, and if the Leafs don't pick this up, they're going to have to have a tough decision to make.
Daniels to throw, long pass. He's got Ryan Hartsock at the 20, and he drops the football at the 15. And now it's 4th down and 6 with 2:49 to play in the 3rd quarter. Geneseo is going to elect to punt the football.
Ouch.
Just been one of those nights.
Ball was well thrown. Hartsock got ahead of his man. He just couldn't pull it in. There was a defensive player right on Daniels, just came right through the line and really. Okay, we got missing a man here.
Geneseo to punt the ball back to Phillips at the Wildcat 47-yard line. Jack Hinton. Spiral kick out of bounds. We'll see where they spot this at.
It's not going to be a great spot for the Leafs. They're going to get the football. Well, it's going to be on the 25-yard line, so that's not too bad. But again, just can't execute, can't get the breaks and can't execute the plays quite as well as you like. You know, it's just a bad day to have a bad day right now.
We're under 15 total minutes here in this game, 2:45 on this third quarter clock. Got 12 more minutes to play in the fourth quarter. Geneseo is going to have the football 3 times as they trail by 17 points. Phillips football at the 25-yard line. Scanes. Geneseo strips it, and the ball comes out. Geneseo with the recovery at the 29-yard line.
Yep.
And we get a signal finally from the officials. They weren't all that excited about it.
Well, I don't know if any of them saw it, but the backfield judge did see that football. Jacob Van Dorn pulled that ball loose. It popped loose. It was clearly out. No question about it. That's, you know, again, we talk about they're going to have to get a break somewhere along the line to turn this thing around. Maybe that's the break.
Geneseo running up to the line of scrimmage by Hunter Gurt in the center. Ball at the Wildcat 29-yard line, 1st and 10, Geneseo. Jackson in motion. It's Humphreys. Hit in the backfield. Loss on the play, back to the 31. And again, the defensive line for the Wildcats just controlling it, the line of scrimmage.
They're lining up some big guys inside there, and we're just having a hard time containing them. They're coming off the line with speed, quickness, and size. It's a bad combination.
Ryan Hartsock and Ryan Tolkas out to the left. Double wing formation, jet sweep to Jackson with blocks out in front.
Well, not enough
closes
blocks.
Quick.
Not enough blocks.
Lost back to the 33. And now it's 3rd down and 14 for Geneseo.
Once again, we've done this to teams in the past, you know, and you wonder what it feels like on the other side, and it just doesn't happen to us very often. And this is it's a tough feeling right now because you just don't know exactly where to go with it. I'm not, you know, I mean, I can picture Danny Derricks up here in the booth just trying to figure out what's going to work. These guys are good. Everything you try, they got an answer for.
On 3rd down for Geneseo, it's Hartsock wide right. Ball at the 33-yard line of the Wildcats. Daniels has some pressure, steps up, throws. It is caught. Cade Humphreys at the 25, down to the 20-yard line, and that's going to be close to a 1st down. He might be a yard short. A minute 5 to play in the third. 17-0 Wildcats.
He is going to be a yard short, but it's going to be 4th down, and now you have to go for it. Obviously, you're on the 20-yard line. A field goal is not going to get you anywhere on this thing. Going to have to make this yard. If you're going to get back in this football game, you got to be able to pick up a yard on 4th down.
Double tight formation. They load up an extra lineman on the right side with Dylan Sage, and it's Sage, and it's a nice 1st down run by Quinn Singbush inside the 15, stopped at the 14-yard line.
Right over right tackle, just kept driving the legs. Got a nice hole. There was a lineman, a defensive lineman trying to get in the backfield and just didn't. The Singbush hit the hole too quick.
Clock down to 25 seconds, running here in the third quarter. Geneseo football at the Wildcat 14-yard line on 1st down. Daniels broken play, keeps it himself to the 10, and Daniels tiptoes out of bounds at about the 7-yard line. Geneseo will run another play here with 13 seconds, clock stopped.
Wind not a big factor here, but this is last 13 seconds that the Leafs are going to have the wind at their back. They're going to be a little bit of an uphill battle in the 4th quarter, not only on the scoreboard, but against the wind.
Ryan Tolkas runs the play in from the sidelines. Geneseo's going to get up to the line of scrimmage and run this from the Phillips 7-yard line, 2nd down and 3. Singbush and Jackson in at the wings. Jackson in motion. Humphreys, fullback to the 5 to 4, down to the 2-yard line, and that will...
Very close to a 1st down. They can get a 1st down without getting a touchdown, and that's it. Right there, they got it. It'll be 1st and goal.
start the clock, and that will end the third quarter. Geneseo threatening here in the third quarter, but Phillips with the lead. At the end of the third period, it is Chicago Phillips 17, Geneseo 0.
This TV 50 telecast is sponsored in part by Hazelwood Homes, Dairy Queen, Eric Henderson and Greg Anderson of Country Financial, Turpins of Geneseo, Geneseo Telephone Company, Central Bank, B&B Lawn Equipment and Cyclery, Snap Fitness, Vandemore Funeral Home, Courtesy Ford of Davenport, Northside Rexall Drug, Hammond Henry Hospital, ProTech Auto Body, Village Home Stores, Liberty Village, Farmers National Bank, Kimberly BMW of Davenport. Please patronize our sponsors and let them know you appreciate their support of this TV 50 telecast.
Fourth quarter from Gately Stadium in Chicago. It's Geneseo trailing Chicago Phillips 17-0. Green Machine with the football, first and goal from the 3-yard line when we resume play here. Geneseo looking to get their first points, and they're 3 yards away from it.
Well, when you switch positions at the quarter on the 3-yard line, you march the ball 94 yards the other direction. You got 3 yards to get in the end zone here to get that 0 off the scoreboard for the Leafs. That'd be step one. Then probably another break is going to be required.
Geneseo converting a 4th down to get that first down. They couldn't convert a 3rd down all day, but they did make it 4th and 1. And now looking at a first down and goal from the 3. Second back, Quinn Singbush running hard to the right into a thicket and stopped at the 1. Geneseo moving from right to left here.
Had a bit of an entourage on the right side there. It looked like he was going to get that.
And Dalton Stage, number 64, is the extra lineman. And he's going to run from the huddle to the sideline, back to the huddle with the play. Clock running, 11:30 to play in the game. Geneseo down by 3 scores. They have it at the Wildcat 1-yard line. Second down coming up. Full house backfield. Singbush, Humphreys, and Jackson. It's Daniels taking it himself. Quarterback keeper, and he gets into the end zone for the touchdown. Geneseo goes up on the board. Now they trail 17-6. 10th caller to La Roma Pizza. Every time Geneseo scores a touchdown, you win a free large 2-topping pizza. Live broadcast viewers and listeners only. 1 winner per season. Must redeem within 1 week. La Roma Pizza, 944-6171.
Well, we have either decided that Daniels is a running back tonight, or we've had a few broken plays. Which way do we call that?
I think that was by design.
It looked like it on that one.
And Hinton, who's made 24 of 25 extra points, puts this one through, and the score is 17-7. Phillips lead cut to 10, and for Will Daniels, his first rushing touchdown of the season. There's always a new wrinkle that Geneseo is going to put in to their game plan. I think that was one of them tonight, was Daniels on the bootleg. 8 plays, 29 yards, 3 minutes and 23 seconds on that scoring drive for Geneseo. The 1-yard run by Will Daniels. Hinton with the extra point. 17-7 is where we stand with plenty of time left in this game. 11 minutes and 14 seconds, but the Geneseo defense has to come up with a stop.
Daniels had a bootleg down here on this end down to get that in that position. I think it might have been when he picked up the first down or got to 3rd down, but down to the 6-yard line, I guess it was. And you know, again, that is a nice little wrinkle because Daniels can run with football. Just got a lot of good running backs, and you know, throughout the season, just kind of keep giving them football, but it's a new wrinkle.
The other wrinkle was putting in Dalton Stage, number 64, giving Geneseo an additional lineman up front to combat this very tough defensive line for Chicago Phillips. Wildcats expecting an onside kick. They've got their hands team up. Jack Hinton to put it back into play.
Got a lot of time here, 11 minutes and 14 seconds left in the football game, and now it's down to 2 scores. It's a 10-point game.
Here's the approach from Hinton. Drives it deep. Stays in play, hits at the 10, rolling inside the 5. Skanes knocks it out of bounds at the 5-yard line. It's almost like illegal batting.
Yeah, that looked. Now, I'm not sure about high school rules, but I've seen that illegal batting called. But it wouldn't. If they called it, it'd be half the distance. They're gonna get the ball at the 4-yard line.
Worst field position for Phillips in this game.
He clearly just ran over and knocked it out of bounds, very clearly. But there's going to be no penalty on it. So
great kick by Jack Hinton.
And it doesn't see that the Leafs coaching staff has any concern about it. So it must be we're just going to take it, play defense from the 4-yard line.
Probably be half the distance anyway if there was a penalty.
Right.
But Mosby, who's had a big night, is standing in the end zone. Skanes at the goal line. Mosby hit right away, and that is going to be he got out of the end zone, close to a safety. And Geneseo starting to turn it up on defense.
Was that Graddert? Did you see who was in there? It had to be Graddert. Busted in.
Geneseo crowd getting into it. Skanes a long count trying to draw the Geneseo defense off. 2nd down and 13 from the 1-yard line. A penalty flag coming in. And the back judge again throws a penalty flag.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. It appears.
What is before the ball was even snapped? There's a penalty flag, and we have no idea.
It's unsportsmanlike conduct. It was a 15-yard. It was on the 1-yard. It was on the 1-foot line. Now it's on the 15.5-yard line. What a call out of nowhere.
Skanes to Mosby, hit at the 19-yard line.
You know, there's a point in time where you let the players play, win and lose the ball game, and this is playoff football. It's not a time for the officials to try to show somebody up. There was no real action going on out there. I just can't imagine what that was.
I don't know either. Everybody was just lining up to play the next snap.
So anyway, next play, Leafs stop for a 1-yard loss, so it's 2nd and 11.
2 receivers out wide to the left side for Phillips. 2nd down and 12. Skanes hands it off to Mosby. Geneseo is probably being held out on the wing. And Mosby gets it out to about the 20-yard line. And it's 3rd down coming up. 3rd and 6 now for the Wildcats as they had it inside the 5-yard line. A 15-yard penalty pushed it out to about the 20.
They had the ball at about the 1-foot line. It was so close to a safety on the previous play. And then the phantom call.
3rd and 6. Mosby sweeping to the 20-yard line, taken down at the 25. He's going to be short of that 1st down. It'll be 4th down and a yard. Good pursuit by the Geneseo defense.
Great play by the defense.
Mosby a little bit limpy.
Jackson out there. It is 4th and 1, and they are going to kick it. It looked for a minute they might decide to go for that, but that would be a bit foolish.
Geneseo taking a timeout, stops the clock, 8:54, and we saw the punt team coming in for Phillips.
For some reason, the Leafs have woken up and playing like you'd hoped they'd play from the beginning. They're playing this 4th quarter like they can play.
Well, hopefully they can overcome a couple of these calls that have happened tonight, which we can't explain. I have no idea on that last one. But Geneseo does have plenty of time here, 8 minutes and 54 seconds. They are getting the momentum on their side.
When the officials start deciding the football game instead of the players, it's never a good thing. Might be wise to stay home, and the Leafs are doing exactly that. There's nobody deep. Stay home, make them kick the football. Nope. They are not kicking the football.
4th and 1, they're going for it. Mosby trying to get the first down, has it to the 30, still on his feet, to the 35, to the 40. And finally tackled at the 45.
Okay, there's a flag.
A couple flags coming in.
Definitely some extracurricular work over there, and we'll see who that gets thrown on. Looks like it's against the Leafs the way Hunziker is reacting. Maybe he's just reacting to the fact that they had him held and didn't stop him on 4th down. Well, this is going to go both ways. They're offsetting penalties. That football is going to stay there. You know, it's a football game, but there's some extracurricular stuff going on in there. The Leafs don't typically react this way.
Wildcats now have it out to the 45-yard line, 1st and 10. Justin Scott making the tackle. Need to come up with a stop on this series of downs, or it's going to start to get pretty bad here for Geneseo.
Scott wrapped him low, which is the only way you can tackle him.
Geneseo down by 10. It's Chicago Phillips 17, Geneseo 7. 8 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the game. Wildcat football from their own 46-yard line. Skanes keeps it himself, pulls it out of the belly of Mosby, and has the first down at the Geneseo 41-yard line. I don't know how you can defend that. It looked like Mosby was going to have the ball, and at the last second, he just pulled it out and took it upfield.
That was just well played, no question about it. And again, the Leafs are going to have to not only get a stop, but there's going to have to be a break somewhere along the line. Something's going to have to go their way. 17-7 is the score, and 7.5 minutes left to go. It's something has to shake loose.
Shotgun formation. Skanes, quick handoff to Mosby to his left, finds an opening, cuts it back to his right. Penalty flag is thrown. And Mosby taken down at the 30-yard line by Devin Haxby. He got a penalty on the play.
That's going to be a hold. And again, he looked like he was just playing stopped, and the next thing you know, he's going the other direction, and everybody's chasing him. Amazing ability to stop on a dime and go the opposite direction.
Official trying to place the ball. And gets it down at the 46-yard line of Geneseo. So first down play. It's going to make it 1st and 17. 7 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the game. Geneseo down by 10. Skanes up the middle. Hit by Justin Scott. And taken down at the 42-yard line.
Scott held on to him long enough for Yarger to get there and a couple other of his best friends. 2nd and 12, as you said. That's this could be one of their few opportunities here that they have left in this ball game. 6.5 minutes, and they need to get 2 scores. Stop has to come first. Leafs playing a lot better football here in the second half, especially the 4th quarter. But they still got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do here.
2nd and long. Mosby stopped on a dime and almost got free, but Geneseo tackles him for a loss on the play. And now it's 3rd down and 15. 6 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the game. Geneseo with 2 timeouts, down by 10. And they need the football back in a hurry.
Got to have a lot of flying to the ball here. Again, you know, the stamina factor, Leafs have never failed in that. They always outplay the opponent in the second half. They're doing so at this point, but they got a lot of work to do here to get this caught up.
3rd and 14. Ball is snapped. Setting up a screen play. Skanes being chased around, running upfield at the 38-yard line, tackled at the 35. And be short of the first down by about 5 yards. It'll be 4th and 5.
But they are in that territory. They'll certainly go for it. They're very confident in their offensive ability. And it's a huge play. Got a nice spot there, so it's going to be 4th and 6. And the Leafs just have to come up with a huge play right here and get a stop at the 36-yard line.
Clock will be under 5 minutes when they snap this ball. They're still in the huddle. 4th down from the Geneseo 36-yard line. And a timeout's going to be taken by Phillips with 4:52 to play in the game. They'll talk about this 4th and 6, up by 10 over Geneseo. 17-7 is the score. Phillips on top.
Phillips has no problem using all their timeouts. They're assuming that they don't need them at the end of the game. They're just using them right here to try to control the football game. They know it's a big play for both teams. If they can get a first down here, they got a good shot at trying to ice this thing. 4 minutes and 51 seconds left to go in the game, and the Leafs need 2 scores, so they obviously need the football quick.
I think Phillips has had the football for about 6 minutes because Geneseo scored early in this quarter, and he actually had Phillips pinned inside the 5 all the way down, actually down to the 1-yard line, and somehow this 15-yard penalty comes in play, and it just kept that drive going, got the momentum back on Phillips' side. They converted a 4th and 1. And now looking at a 4th and 6 here. Geneseo defense needs a stop. Skanes off to the right side, and he's gone. Down to the 25, the 15, the 10, and into the end zone for a Wildcat touchdown on 4th down and 6.
Well, it's the second time this game that they've converted on 4th down. Big plays. In each case, they're trying to get a first down, but they score a touchdown instead. That's a big hurt on the Geneseo comeback hopes here. 23-7 at this point.
Pending the extra point here by Phillips, it's 23-7. As the Wildcats went over 95 yards on that drive to score a touchdown. Extra point is good, 24-7, 4:42 to play in the game. Phillips on top of Geneseo.
Well, there's certainly going to be no quit in the Leafs. They're going to come back and they're going to try to battle, but they need to score quickly. This is not the time to come up with a 4-minute drive and be down by 10 again. Going to have to figure out how they can get some points on the board with some nice expedited plays.
Here's the scoring drive for Chicago Phillips. 96 yards on 12 plays, 6 minutes and 32 seconds. And a 36-yard touchdown run by Kevon Skanes to make it 24-7.
Well, we were told this was a real good football team, and the people that told us that were certainly not lying.
Kickoff, and then we have a whistle. Looks like Wildcats were offsides.
Move it back a couple yards and try it again. Quickest way to score is to return the kickoff.
And Geneseo's got 2 seniors back there, Devin Haxby and Quinn Singbush.
This is not a time to hide anybody. Pull them all out.
Right.
Whoever has the best chance of breaking something, put them back there.
5-yard penalty for offsides. That means Phillips will have to kick off from the 35, and the ball goes off the tee once again. Here's the kickoff, heading down to Haxby at the 15-yard line, out to the 30, the 35, and Haxby taken out on the sidelines at the 42-yard line. Looks like a late hit over there.
There was a lot of ooh and on over there, but officials are right on top of it. Didn't see any extracurricular activity after this play. Frustrating day for the Leafs. They're getting a little cocky over there, but you know, again, 2 years ago they got beat pretty handily, and there's a few of these players I'm sure still remember that.
Had a running clock 2 years ago. 24-7 the score now. Daniels rolls out, throws, long pass, and that's going to be intercepted by the Wildcats at the 38-yard line. That'll end the Geneseo drive here and give the ball back to the Wildcats.
That ball was thrown against the wind and just didn't have enough on it. The wind just killed that thing down. The receiver had no chance of getting back to it. I believe it was Singbush down there. Just had no chance of coming back and receiving that ball. Wildcats begin to celebrate down there with 4.5 minutes here and a 17-point lead. They're going to try to ice this thing.
Well, Geneseo's had a good season.
Yeah, you know, it's
10 wins.
They had an outstanding season, but they've run into a really good football team today. It's nothing to be ashamed of, but they just this is everything that was advertised. Kiko Pena grabs a hold of the running back and takes him down. Kiko wrestles him to the ground. They go into, again, 4 down linemen. Expecting Phillips to just run the football, trying to grind it out with first downs on the ground, run the clock. And the clock is ticking away down to 4 minutes.
2nd down and 4 coming up for Phillips. Good senior class here. Will Daniels, C.J. Majorkirth, Ryan Tulka, Sam Welch, Antonio Tumbarello, Justin Scott. 17-point lead for Phillips, and they have the football. And a timeout taken again by the Wildcats. So rest of the seniors on this team: Quinn Singbush, Gunnar Gaines, Devin Haxby, Cole Hunzacker, Connor Welch, Nick Anderson, Bryce Iwinski, Jake Yarger, Logan Schwartzendruber, Hunter Hinton, Jacob Widger, Kiko Pena, Levi Roberts, Reed Grattert, Jacob Van Doren, Ryan Hartsock, Ben Rowley. 10-win season.
Clock ticking down here, 3.5 minutes, just a little over 3.5 minutes, and the Leafs having some conversations with defensive coach Travis Mackey.
Ready to snap the ball on 2nd down. Mosby tackled in the backfield, loss on the play.
Grattert and Justin Scott level him out. Clock ticking away though, 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. And the Chicago Phillips Wildcats are not in any hurry to get the ball snapped. They're just trying to run that clock. Leafs need a stop here to get the football back, but it's going to take something extraordinary to get back in this football game now at 24-7.
Spread things out on this 3rd and 6 play. Mosby running to his right, Geneseo pursuing, and Geneseo trying to strip the ball, but they do knock him down short of the 1st down.
Flying to the ball, the Leafs are over there. It looked like Jordan Jackson just about had that football loose. Spins out of the tackle. It's going to be 4th and 5. Again, with the clock running, Phillips is going to kick the ball, but they're not going to be in any hurry to do so.
Geneseo has 2 timeouts, but they will save them for the offense and let this clock run down to 2:25 to play in the game. Devin Haxby back for Geneseo at the 34-yard line. Phillips is the number 1 seed in this bracket. Geneseo was the number 4 seed. And we've got a delay of game by Phillips.
It's just going to mean it's 4th and 10 instead of 4th and 5, and they're going to kick the ball 5 yards deeper. Leafs are going to get the football, but they want to take every second off the clock that they could. they were real concerned about that 5-yard delay of game.
On 4th and 11 from the 37-yard line, Phillips will kick the ball away to Geneseo. The Wildcats up by 17, 24-7. Geneseo will have 2 minutes to work with here in the final quarter. Haxby fields the punt at the 40, runs out of bounds at the 50. And then a penalty flag comes in after the play.
Haxby ran out of bounds. He was not hit, so I'm wondering if they're going to throw something against.
It was a late hit, I think, afterwards.
No, they're picking up the flag.
So no penalty.
Yeah, I really didn't see what was going on there, but the reaction, one of the Geneseo linemen, it looked like they were throwing it on him, and he's just trying to throw a block.
Double wing set for Geneseo on 1st and 10 at midfield. It's Quinn Singbush in motion. Geneseo moving before the snap of the ball. Back them up 5 yards.
Everybody throws their laundry on the field now. Officials need to understand that the game needs to be just run out by the players here. 1st and 15 for the Leafs.
Ryan Tolkas and Quinn Singbush are wide to the right. Jackson in motion to the left. Daniels throwing a long pass down to Singbush, has him open, and it's knocked away. Incomplete, stopping the clock with 1:49 to play in this game.
Once again, that ball was close to an interception. Singbush did not really have the position on it. The defensive back did, and Singbush kind of jarred it loose from him. That was a good play by Quinn to make sure. You called him race earlier this year, and I got through the whole season to almost the last play. Quinn knocked the ball loose, avoid the interception.
2nd down, 15. Daniels. His pass is over the head of Hartsock with some contact there before the ball got there, but no call.
There was contact way before that ball got there, but they are not going to call that. Interesting. Hartsock looked around like there's got to be a flag somewhere.
3rd down and 15 coming up for Geneseo.
Well, with the ball on the 1-foot line of Phillips, the phantom 15-yard call was a huge call in this game, and where that came from, my goodness.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what that call was. It'll be interesting to see how that gets explained, because I've never seen a call made from a back judge on a play that guys are just lining up to snap the ball. Incomplete pass, 4th and 15 for Geneseo at their own 45-yard line.
Yeah, it's almost like there was a breach of etiquette, but this was really not chess. This is football. There wasn't anything blatant or obvious. Minute 35 clock. This is it. 4th down play.
Tolkas out to the right. Motion by Quinn Singbush, and Daniels setting up to throw. Has some time, nobody open though, and he's gonna let it go before he gets hit. And there we got a penalty marker downfield. Might be a hold on the defensive back for Phillips. Ball at the 30-yard line.
They're calling that.
Yep.
Pass interference. The pass apparently was not caught. No, the pass was not caught. The pass was incomplete. It looked like it was caught for a minute, but there's going to be a penalty and a 1st down. So they avoid giving the ball back to the Wildcats.
Get a new set of downs here at the Phillips 40-yard line. Singbush in motion, takes the toss, sets up to throw, gets hit up high, he's going to run for it, and back to the line of scrimmage.
Just too much pressure defensively. The defensive line is just really We've got a injured player down for Phillips.
That's Elmore.
Elmore.
He's been all over the place tonight on offense and defense.
Has been. He was the one that made the tackle. Got his helmet off really quickly for some reason.
So that'll stop the clock with 1 minute and 6 seconds to play in the ball game. 24-7 is the score. Phillips leading Geneseo. And we're just waiting to, I guess he's gonna need a drink. Maybe got, I don't know.
He's popping up.
Loose contact or something, I don't know.
I'm willing to bet that he is going to play in the future. He's walking off the field on his own accord, and he's going to be fine. He will take at least this down off. Very likely several. Leafs come up the line of scrimmage with 1 minute and 6 seconds left. Trying to put another score on the board, but it's a mountain to climb now.
Yep, 2nd down and 10. Daniels hit as he throws the football away. It's incomplete. So it's 3rd down and 10. Daniels getting the play in from the sidelines.
Lauren, I know you've kind of run down that list of seniors, but they have had a good year. This whole team has had a good football season. They've played really hard. They've had, again, just some momentary letdowns. The first half of this football game was tough. They've had some tough moments today, and it's just one of those days where it's, you know, it kind of jumps up and gets you.
Daniels being flushed from the pocket. Throws a long pass towards Tolkas. Out of play, though. Incomplete, and it's 4th down.
This is all we got left. Is a 4th down opportunity to try to keep this thing alive with 46 seconds left. And we have to admit that we ran into a really good football team today. This Chicago Phillips team is a very valid team. Going to have their hands full. Did we see if that was a final with Marengo? Marengo was leading Rockford Lutheran, and
yeah, I think that ended up being 38-28 was the final on that. Pass to Humphreys on 4th down, incomplete, and so that will end the Geneseo drive here late in the 4th quarter. And yeah, Marengo did win that by 10 points.
So Chicago Phillips is going to get a date with Marengo, and
that'll be, I think, here
because Marengo is home today against Lutheran.
They've had 3 home games.
Is that correct?
So that game will be here at Gately Stadium, probably 7 o'clock next Saturday night. That's my guess anyway, because. But yeah, the Phillips, they've got unbelievable talent and speed. They've got, you know, 3 or 4 guys going on to play Division I college football next year, and speed today just overmatched Geneseo's ability to stop them, and they take a knee here in the final 30 seconds of the game.
Got flashing lights and sirens going on out here. Don't know if it's an accident or a celebration. Didn't hear the fireworks, the traditional fireworks for any of the scores tonight, so maybe they're just running out the emergency vehicles for celebration purposes.
Geneseo did get their touchdown tonight. That's their 60th touchdown of the season. So we want to thank La Roma Pizza for handing out 60 free pizzas, 2 large topping pizzas. So thanks again to La Roma Pizza for that contribution again this season. Final seconds tick off here. It's a final score now. Chicago Phillips defeats Geneseo by the final score of 24-7. Geneseo ends their season with 10 wins, 2 losses, and Phillips moves on to the semifinals in Class 4A. They are now 12-0 on the season.
Can't deny the fact that we ran into a good football team. I mean, a really good football team here tonight. Chicago Phillips is everything that was advertised. Tough to move the ball against, and they do move the ball pretty well themselves. So, you know, they play the game on both sides of the football. and they're going to get a date with Marengo. Winner of that goes to the state championship football game. Leafs had a fantastic season. You know, they got nothing but good reasons to hold their heads high and walk out of this stadium and go back home and just think back on what a great senior season that some of these guys had, junior, sophomores, all of them out there. What a great year it was.
Players are shaking hands here. They go through the line. Geneseo fans, I'm sure, going to stick around here and give their Green Machine team a good send-off here before they leave this football field here at Gately Stadium. Willis Andel's working fast on the statistics. Bob, we want to thank you so much for helping out with the broadcast this year. It's always fun having you around and filling time for me, and we thank you for helping out again.
It gives you somebody to make fun of it. Got to have that. You know, you can't make fun of Keith all the time. You got to have somebody else.
I want to thank Zach Mackey, who's helped out with their broadcast too. Zach's probably enjoying the Iowa game right now. It's probably about over with, but again, thanks to Zach for being one of our broadcasters too. So Geneseo ending their season at 10-2. The final score, as they clear the scoreboard here, is 24-7 Phillips over Geneseo. First downs in this game, Geneseo at 5, Phillips 19. Geneseo with 29 yards on the ground, Phillips with 339. Total yards, Geneseo had 42 yards tonight up offense, 368 yards for Phillips. Time of possession, Geneseo was 17 minutes. Phillips had 30 minutes of possession time. And individually for Geneseo, Humphreys with 21 yards rushing, Singbush had 13. Daniels was 2 of 12 passing for 13 yards. Mosby for Phillips, 210 yards rushing. Skanes had 127 on the ground and 29 yards passing. So that's the final here. Phillips beats Geneseo 24-7.
Let me sneak one in here. Dan Pearson text in here that Anawan Wethersfield scored 27 points in the fourth quarter to rally and win over Spring Valley Hall. What a comeback.
Way to go, Titans. All right, we want to thank Ron Hartman and Geneseo Communications providing ITV 50's internet streaming. Kim Kennett back at the WGRG FM studio. Our statistician, Willis Andel, our technical coordinator, Keith Kennett, and mostly you fans for tuning into Green Machine football all season long. It's been our pleasure. For Bob Pettit, I'm Lauren Lemke. Have a good night.